When promises are broken, and all that remains are the memories of a life that could have been, sometimes we must rediscover who we are. The Netflix movie Spaceman is one of the strangest movies so far this year on this platform. But behind a strange story of an astronaut and his friend, an alien spider, lies a story of loneliness and what it means to be human. In this video, we will be explaining what the spider really is and the meaning of the end of this movie. And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. The story of this movie begins by showing us Jakub, an astronaut who was sent to investigate a strange cloud called Chopra near Jupiter, which was approaching the Earth. At the beginning of the film, we understand several things about Jakub. First of all, he is almost a hero for his country, being the first Czech astronaut to participate in such missions. Jakub's life is one that could be described as the result of a successful, exemplary career. He is admired by everyone, where even the children of his country see him as a hero and do interviews with him. We can see in the film how his image is used for commercials, and that everything appears to be perfect. However, the film begins by showing us an interview between a student and this astronaut, where the student tells him that she imagines him as someone lonely. It is very lonely to be the only astronaut on that mission. Although the beginning of the film talks about the loneliness of an astronaut, the loneliness shown in the film is much deeper. Jakub tells the student that he is not lonely because he talks to his wife.
She and I can talk over the Czech Connect Quantum faster than the speed of light phone, which keeps us connected.
For Jakub, his wife was his companion, but this relationship started to get complicated. Jakub's wife sends him a message to break the relationship. This is something that the space program avoids sending, but the communication with his wife stops, and this is where the story of reflection and loneliness really begins. The story introduces us to a character, a giant spider, who presents itself as an extraterrestrial being, the last of its kind, as they were hunted by an aggressive race. According to this spider, Jakub's loneliness attracted it.
Your loneliness intrigued me.
Jakub then begins to question if this spider is real, or if he is really losing his mind. And that is a question that accompanies us throughout the film. The evidence that the spider is not real is that the space program, Peter's character, says that they do not detect anything on the ship.
Well, we're not seeing anything on our sensors down here.
However, the giant spider begins to interact with Jakub, who nicknames it Hanus. Hanus has the ability to talk to its mind and access memories from Jakub's past, the same memories that lead him to question his life choices, especially his relationship with his wife Lenka. The spider becomes a kind of psychologist for Jakub, who begins to remember all the broken promises to his wife. In the past, Jakub had promised to always be with her, but he was not there when she lost their first child, and while she was pregnant again, he accepted this mission to Jupiter. Jakub always prioritized his career, and always put his desires ahead of his wife's, not seeing that she was in depression. On the other hand, Jakub was not only thinking about Lenka, but the basis of his depression was born in an experience he had with his father. His father lost his life for being on the wrong political side, and Jakub made it his life's goal to clear his family's name, to become a hero, and thus erase that memory from his mind. However, even though Jakub achieved all his goals and became this cosmonaut admired by everyone, something was wrong. The fact that Jakub volunteered for a mission, which many considered suicidal, to clear his family's name, led him to a terrible realization, and that is that, although he took this mission to get away from his problems and achieve those goals in his career, it only caused his depression to increase more and more, to the point that it manifests itself as a spider. And here is perhaps the secret, or the real meaning of the film. In the 52nd minute of the film, we can see a scene in which Lenka interacts with a small spider in her window. This symbolizes that, like Jakub, she also felt lonely and had depression, but her spider was small. This could symbolize that she was also starting to develop depression, but it was not as severe as Jakub's. Whenever Jakub remembered something from his life with Lenka, it was distorted, as if seen through the eyes of the spider. This happens because the whole life after his father's death, Jakub saw it through depression. It was Jakub who had this spider vision. He was Hanus. Jakub's memories are seen through that filter that distorts the image, as if it were the spider that is seeing them, because Jakub experienced his day-to-day life through a filter of depression. That is, Jakub had dragged all his life, the depression of losing his father, and this had affected his relationship with his wife, abandoning her in the most important moments. But the loneliness of this journey leads Jakub to confront reality. He realizes that although this spider was with him, or depression had followed him all his life, he had not seen what really mattered. He hadn't paid attention to his wife, he had only focused on accomplishing his goals, to see if he could wipe his hands clean of his father's actions. We can even see a scene of Jakub as a young man, being caressed by the spider, which symbolizes that depression grew since the death of his father. But when Jakub achieves everything, and is on his way to check what the Chopra Cloud is all about, the spider says something interesting. Jakub has always achieved everything, but he is missing the most important thing, his wife.
You thought this was everything you wanted. So what's not here, Jakub?
She's not here.
We even see a scene where Jakub is seeing his wife's projections on the wall. And then, his wife's face is projected on his own hand. This symbolizes how he is seeing his wife's life, or his loneliness, being projected onto himself. Jakub had always been minding his own business, and had never put himself in his wife's situation. This scene is quite important, because it is Jakub's moment of realization, where he notices that he has wasted his time by focusing his life on his career, and not on his wife. It is here that Jakub calls her, and tells her that he never saw her. His mind was always focused on his depression, and he didn't see how much his wife was suffering. It is at this point in the film that the spider moves away from the ship, and Jakub swoops in to rescue her. I think this part symbolizes a phenomenon among people in depression, that when they reach a point where they must struggle to get better, many times, depression is the only thing they know, and they cling to or embrace this depression, because it is the last thing they have left. But we see in the last scene how everything must end, even these wrong thoughts, depressions, and anxieties. I think the death of Hanus represents the clarity in Jakub's mind, the moment when he understands that he is not responsible for the sins of his father, and that the important thing is actually his wife. In my opinion, I think the spider was never real, but it was as real as Jakub's depression. It was the manifestation of all his mistakes, and how he had to face them. This is certainly an interesting film, but it is not for everyone. It is a thought-provoking film, and many times, it makes us uncomfortable. It's a surprise, coming from an actor who usually plays only comedy roles, and personally, I liked it a lot, because it's an intimate journey between goals, dreams, and frustrations. But tell me, what do you think about all this? What was really the spider for you? And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You're on. The Oasis Geek.